Hi, my name is Gary Clark. I'm the Senior Associate Dean for the College of Engineering, and I'm here to give you an initial update for the fall of 2020 teaching. There's a lot that's been going on this summer, and I know that the last time we saw most of you was last spring when all of a sudden we all got the notice that got to vacate campus. We got to go all online. And so things are different this fall, but they're not going to be like last fall. A lot of campus preparations and discussions and things have been going on to get our classrooms ready and to let you know that the number one topic of all of these, that's the foundation of all decisions, is safety. It's safety for you, but it's also safety for us, for me, for the faculty, for the staff, and the others that are in the building. So you're going to see a lot of changes, and you're wondering about your classes. I'm going to talk about the classrooms, and we're going to show you some of the classroom spaces because they've changed. I'm in the SAS learning room, called the Collaborative Learning Lab, and you can see a little change behind me because this room is going to become a classroom that seats 26. We had to go through a lot of approval processes for classrooms to have a 6-foot nose-to-nose spacing. And there's also a study going on campus looking at the ventilation requirements to make sure that they're okay for the numbers of people. That process has taken many classrooms offline for use as a classroom, and we're going to have to fix those. So I'll talk about some of those other rooms. One of the other things that you've noticed when I started this video is I had a mask on. Okay? So I've got this mask. Where do I wear that? When you're here, everyone, all faculty, all staff, all students, all visitors, when you're in our buildings, when you're in the hallways, when you're in the classrooms, you'll be required to wear a mask. Now there are a few conditions, and those rules will be coming out, they're posted right now, where you might not have to wear a mask when you can have social distancing of 6 feet or more, when you're outside, for example. In certain office spaces, when we can be 6 feet or more apart, we don't need to wear a mask there. But again, in the hallways in the building, in the classrooms, in the study spaces, masks are required throughout this campus. You're also going to hear about different teaching terms. So we went through a process to determine our classes and how they're going to be taught this fall. Some are going to be online, but very few, like we had this past spring or this summer. There are going to be a few that are face-to-face, which is the way you started last spring or you had last fall. But those are only few and far between because we have some limitations on how many students we're allowed to put in each classroom, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Most are going to be what we call blended. So it's a blended style of some online digital content along with some face-to-face instruction. So let me give you a for example. We could have a class that has 90 people in it, but the room that they're in only allows 30 or 35. Well, that instructor may record their lecture for everyone to view as an online lecture. But then on Monday, that instructor would have 1/3 of the class, on Wednesday, the second third of the class, and on Friday, the last third of that class, to have an interactive discussion, lecture, review, problem solving, recitation type period, and we call that a flipped classroom. So that's an example of a blended mode. Some courses are going to have, again, that online content, but they have labs. And all our faculty and our departments are working on those lab experiences because we know how important those are for you to have as an in-person experience. You'll have fewer people in the lab, and some of the labs may be compressed in time, but we're working on making sure that you get a great lab experience and learn those things that you need to learn while you're here. It will be different than you had last fall, but it will also be very different than what we all experienced this past spring. So let me talk a little bit about the rooms and that you're going to experience. So I'm in the SAS learning room. We are still going to have SAS. It's going to be different. We're going to need to use this room as a classroom. So behind me, you'll see tables and chairs that are set up a little bit different than what you've seen before. But this has been approved as a 26-person classroom, and that's very important for us, because we've had other classrooms that are not allowed to be used as a classroom or have tremendously reduced capacities. We'll also probably have some SAS activities going on here, although not as many people around the table because we still need to maintain that social distancing. We'll have a variety of tables and chairs throughout the atrium space for you to use as study spaces. Part of that is because you're going to also see a picture or a little bit of video of Fidler Learning Commons. I also have to take that, and I got that as approved as a 50-person classroom, which is the largest classroom that we're allowed to have on this campus right now. We're in phase 3 of COVID-19 for the state of Kansas, and we're going to be in that for a while. So we can't have any more than 50 students in a room at a time. And so I got that room as a 50-seat room, and so some classes are going to be moved into that space. You'll still have access to half of the PCs that are in there. We'll have that available, and we'll have a few other study tables in there. During the evening, most of the time that room will be available for you to do your studying in. Can't move the tables and chairs, but you'll have the ability to study in there. And then some evenings we'll have to close it off because we're going to need it for exams. You're going to see other classrooms. Many of you have had classes in 1073, sometimes we call it the Pasley Lecture Hall. That room normally seats 185 persons. It is only approved for 35. And that's a real challenge when we have classes that exceed 100 persons to make them fit in that room and within these various constraints. Room 1109 is the big engineering hall lecture hall. Normally seats 250. We're allowed 48. Fidler Auditorium normally seats 150. We're allowed 42. So we have some challenges to go with, and you'll see another room that we use, 1027, that normally has 54 seats, and to get to work within the constraints of that room, we're allowed 18. So in this quick overall message, I'm going to ask you to work with us to be patient. Understand that we're all going to have to wear our masks. Okay? You can also wear neck gaiters. We have a variety of neck gaiters that people are wearing. So you'll see those around. There are masks. Some masks are just plain, and some have taken those plain ones and made a nice tie-dye purple example. Okay? So there's a variety of things that we can do. It's just the world we're in right now. We're going to do our best to make it work. I'm going to ask you to go to the K-State website where the COVID-19 information is. There's a lot of FAQs there for students as well as faculty, staff, and also our own engineering website. We're going to be keeping material posted up there, and additional information will be coming over the next coming weeks. We know it's going to be a challenge, but we do look forward to seeing you here in August, a little bit earlier than last year, but on August 17th is when classes start. So best wishes to you for the rest of your summer, and keep posted on things that we've got going on.